and welcome to game number 1 of tonight's Deathly Hallows scrims, Most Wanted. Tonight the most wanted player is Abstract from Xenotactic, and he is going to be in team number 6. So whoever kills that player will win bonus points. Now we're in Vikendi to start off with, and we are watching team number 2, Deathly Hallows, made up of Redders, Siren, Tango and Bazza. And we have a northern to southern flight path, starting off just to the side of port and ending at Hot Springs and Cantra. So we have a fair few teams jumping early. Team 22, Jen. Team 19, The Paradox. Team 21, Jen. And obviously Team 2, as I mentioned, Deathly Hallows. We've got Lionhearts going straight to the eastern side, near to Trevno. And then we have a few teams jumping near the southern end, towards the Winery, Abbey and Dino Park. Now a lot of these teams seem to be in their own area at the moment, so not really surrounded, so they do have that time just to get some decent loot and then start moving. And here we go, a very harsh zone to start off with, 50% in the water, 50% on land. And that will mean all the teams in the eastern areas will need to move over to get to that zone. Luckily, we do have a few teams in there already, and this will be a great chance for them to gatekeep especially. And we do have areas like VR, Mavatra and Dino Park and Milner still in play. So there will be some great locations for a bit of camping, I believe, and some decent fights in store. So for now, let's go over to Team 15, which is Sons of Odin. They are at Podvosto alongside Team number 8, and that is Zen. Now, Sons of Odin are with team number 8. They are fairly separated right now, so I don't think either team knows that the other team is there. And we have Jacko on a snowmobile moving towards the southeastern direction. That team is fairly separated, so we're looking at a 2-2 split with Moonin and Jacko pairing up together, and Venus and Deadpool being on the opposite side of the road. Now I do mention splits a fair amount when I stream, and the reason I do that is this. Splits can be a really strategic style of play. You split up, you get rotations on either side, and then you push a team, putting them under immense pressure and hopefully making them slip up so that the knocks and the kills are a lot easier for you. However, you can also get other types of split. You can get a 2-2, you can get a 3-1, you can get a 2-1, or you can get possibly a 1-1, I think I mentioned. And that's where the risk starts to increase a little. If you have a 3-1 or a 2-1 split, what you're pretty much saying is that if that one player gets knocked, the other two, it will be a close call whether they're able to get that revived. So it may be at that point they say, do you know what, let's leave this area, let's move over and try and get the placement. So when you're doing splits like that, you're always putting that one player at risk. And what Jacko has now found is a Car 98, and it looks as though he's going to mark that for another player and picks up an M762. But now that teammate are moving away, I think it's going to be relatively safe for us to move to another location. So let's go over and have a quick look at Team 7, which is Zen. And they are at the Dino Park with Team 14 nearby, and that is New Punters. And they also have Team 3 nearby, which is Deathly Hallows. We have Team 9 Riot, who are on the coastal side of this zone. They're on the left-hand side by Via. Now the benefit for them is that they do have that sea, that water. So essentially, if a team starts to push forward towards them, they can then keep moving back into the water and then go underneath if they want to hide, and then move to another location around the edge of that coastal line. But saying that, the negative part is that when you're in water, unless you're in a boat, you cannot shoot your weapon. So there is always a fine line about whether you really want to take that chance or whether you're doing it because you have no other choice. But let's actually go back to Team 12, and this is a Noob Hunters team. They are in the red zone at the moment and are being approached by Team 6, which is then Missy, Venom, Verts and Abstract. And Noob Hunters Vixen has just been taken down. So let's go straight over to Team 13 as they come up against Team 8. And that is NH Hides, I think, just being knocked by Belly there of Team 8. So we have Vixen, who is still knocked, and we have Destroyer. And as I mentioned, this is a similar circumstance to a 1-1 split. Destroyer has realised that Vixen was in a vulnerable position. She was knocked, so it would have been very unlikely that the revive would have happened. So what Destroyer is now having to do is to just go for placement. He is now a solo player, having lost Hides and Vixen. So it would have been very silly of him to try and take on a full squad on his own. So he has made that good decision to just retreat. He's staying close by, so he knows exactly where they are, and he can then plan his route around them. So if they go left, for example, he'll go right. It's very unlikely that him as a player will want to go up against any sort of squad for the time being, at least in game 1. And there we see NH Obelisk is taking down Nyx and Naughty. So this could be a squad of Team 5. They're in a car. You have Vape, Denny and Nemris right now. So Naughty and Nyx have been taken down. And they are now going up against Noob Hunters Team 12. They do also have Team 13 coming behind them. So that is Nemris knocked by Noob Hunters Obelisk. Denny taking down Noob Hunters Adam. And Nemris is now being shot from behind by Wilo of Team 8. And it looks as though Vape Denny is being shot too. The car is being hit. And Denny is now trying to play for placement. Shots are still being fired by Team 12. And Denny is just getting into this compound just to get a bit more cover. Noob Hunters starting to push in. And that is a great bit of play from Vape Denny taking down Obelisk. And that is Flareon down 2. And Gerbil. And that is 4 kills for team number 5. But for now, let's go over to Team 15 as they just drove past Team 3, which is definitely Hallows. Looks as though their vehicle has become stuck. And it looks as though Sons of Odin have realised that definitely Hallows are in that compound. We have 4 team members right now. We only have 2 for Sons of Odin. We have Venus and Deadpool who have stopped, whilst Moonin and Jacko are just coming up to them on their own vehicles. So it's now going to be 4v4. And mollies are being thrown. Venus almost knocked. And Jammy has just been knocked by Venus and a molly. And that is Angel knocked 2 by Moonan. And that is Buff knocked by Moonan as well. And that is Revolt taken down, so that is Team 3 wiped. Now we're with Team 18, which is only the Brave, and they are going up against Team number 8. And they have lost Lady and Mutant so far. They still have Psycho and Moobs in play. And we have Ninja and Fallen rotating right with Violet. And that is Psycho knocked. And that is it, with Psycho being finished off by Fallen and Belly taking down Moobs. And we are now with the Paradox, with Florent getting a knock, with Subi taking down Jen Fitzy, and Ant-Man taking down Tropo. And that is Ant-Man being knocked by Marcus and Thompson, and that is Ant-Man finished. We are now looking towards Psycho, who's been fired at by Nemesis of Noob Hunters. Psycho's now using an energy drink. Florent takes down Marcus of Noob Hunters with an Uzi. So that is Marcus knocked. And that is Florent taken down by Dotter, with Subi getting the finish on Marcus. And that is now Dotter down by Psycho. And Psycho is now getting a revive on Florent. Subi is now pushing in to give a bit more fire support. And that is Abstract taken down by Wilo. As I mentioned at the beginning, that now means that Team 8 will receive bonus points for taking down the most wanted member. What I will now do though is just go over to Team 6, and we have Zemissy that is knocked. Vert is going to try and get a revive and takes down Wilo of Team 8 and gets the kill. And that is then Missy finished off there by Rockfallen, and Ninja taking down Vert. And we now have Vape Denny of Team 5 going up against Zero Tolerance. Manages to Molotov herself. And here goes a grenade towards later. And that is a brilliant kill from Vape Denny. But that is Denny taken down by Welshie of Deathly Hallows over at Northwest. So Team 4 may now choose to push in towards Team 23 to really finish off what Vape Denny started. A lot of them have been knocked, so their first aid kits must be low for now. They may have some boosts and things like that, but I think they are going to be quite low on supplies. So this will be a great chance for Team 4 to just swoop in and get the last 2 kills with Nana and Crate still standing for Team 23, Zero Tolerance. And here we go, so Team 4 are grouping together behind this rock. They won't necessarily have Team 23 in their sights at the moment, but Thor and KJ are rotating left. Grenades are being thrown, so that will give them an indication that somebody is still there. And Nana is just pushing in towards the vehicle. And is now retreating back towards Crate, going to the flare drop first. And Crate is going to the other. Now Team 23 have some options here. They can either stay and fight, or they can take one of two cars, a Jeep and a Dacia that are here, and use that to get to another location. They are just outside of zone, so for now it may be wiser for them to get more centre, and I'm looking at the Movatra area maybe, or maybe one of these smaller compounds near to Team 8, and that should then allow them to get comfortable a little bit. But here we go, that is Nana taken down by KJ. So we still have Nana knocked. And we have Crate Snatcher, who is crouched behind the rock at 125. Now Team 4 really do have some options. We're doing a 2-2 split. This is a perfect example of that, with KJ and Welsh being on the left and Thor and Andy being on the right. Thor is pushing forward a little bit more, with Andy just following in. Now Crate is being pushed in by the zone. He's just going past the flare drop. He's now behind the rock, and that is Thor that gets the kill on Crate Snatcher. So we are looking at 3 kills for team number 4. And now that we are 18 minutes in, this will be the perfect opportunity to have a quick recap of where we stand so far as we go over to Team 14. That have just been taken down by the Riot team. So as I said, we are 18 minutes into game number 1. We have 9 teams remaining and 30 players alive. And if we have a quick look at the zone, it is moving in slightly. We still have Movatra in play, as well as VR and a couple of smaller compounds on the southern side. We have 3 teams in zone at the moment, and that is Team 8, Team 9 and Team 21. Team 19 are now pushing forward, so we'll watch them as they try to come in, as there is a risk of them being gate kept by Team number 9. And we also have Team 2 coming in that direction as well, along with Team 15, Sons of Odin, Team 20, Lionhearts, Team 4, Deathly Hallows, Team 13, Noob Hunters, and Team 21 Journey coming in right from the southern side. So their journey in is relatively risk-free due to there being hardly any teams available to gatekeep them. So I think that is where Team 8 could be at risk now, because they will have teams pushing in from behind them, in front of them and to the side. But at the same time, if they can hold the compound that they have found themselves in, this could be a really good opportunity for them to get some more of those kills. I mean, at the moment, they have got 11 kills, so they're doing really well as a team. Team 2 have none at the moment. Team 4 have 3. Team 8, as I mentioned, have 11, sorry. Team number 9 have 4. Team 13 have none. Team 15 have 4. Team 19 have 8. Team 20 have 4. And Team 21 have none. But there is still always time to get those kills. And as always, anyone is capable of being a winner for game number 1. And as always, the winner of game number 1 will be the team that chooses the map for game number 2. And to give as much variety as we can in a scrim, the maps that they can choose from will not include a Vikendi, as we have already played that in game 1, so we'll be looking at either Erangel, Sanhok or Miramar. The reason why we do not choose Livik at this stage is because of the number of players it allows, and the last time we checked it did not allow spectators. So that would mean that there would be no stream available, and we of course do not want that. But Team 19, the Paradox, are now moving in, or at least they would if Florent hadn't got the cast up. There we go, but Subi comes in to the rescue and dislodges the car. And they are now doing something you don't see very often. They are travelling around the outside of the zone, just on that edge, just to scout the inside and work out what they could be going up against depending on what location they try to use to get in. Now they are about to come up to Team 20 Lionhearts, who are right ahead of them on the left hand side, but they seem to get past them without much commotion. It looks as though they may now be coming up against team number 4, who are right in front of them. It looks as though they're now going to make their way in by foot. And are just looking at that compound up ahead, just having a look to see if anyone's inside. But they have now spotted team 4 being fired at. Andy is taken down by PDX Subi. And Jen Spook takes down Thor, so Team 4 are now being third party by Team 21 and 19. Florent is shooting at Kate, the building she was in. Well, she will be trying to get Andy. It looks as though Andy has now been finished off by Subi. And Deathly Hallows Siren takes down Riot Ghost and EVC, with Belly giving a helping hand and getting the finish there, with Siren getting a kill of her own. Thunderbird and Deadpool and Moonin go up against Lionheart, with Proxy being taken down. And Florent is now waiting for Noob Hunter's Destroyer to come in. And Welshie gets the knock on Jen Tequila and gets a kill there. And we are now with team number 2. And Molly has just gone in but misses the window by a few inches, and Team 2 are now starting to make their push. They've got Belly inside of Team 8. Bazza is rotating round, just sitting on the outskirts scoping in. We have Tango on the left hand side. We've got Siren and Red is over at 145. And that is Belly, finished off by Deathly Hallows Tango. So that is now 2 kills for team number 2. And Sons of Odin Jacko has just finished off Noob Hunter's Destroyer. And here we have our top 5 so far. with Deathly Hallows Team 2, Deathly Hallows Team 4, Sons of Odin Team 15, The Paradox Team 19 and Genesis Team 21. Now, Sons of Odin may just be in sight of team number 2. And we have the Paradox of Team 19 shooting towards Sons of Odin, whilst Deathly Hallows Team 2 get a rotation in to try and get into zone. We've got Team 21 trying to make their way in too. They are in the water. And are stuck between Deathly Hallows Team 4 and Deathly Hallows Team 2 right now, with the Paradox of Team 19 now pushing forward. They will be kept busy by Sons of Odin. We have Bazza, who's lagging behind a little. So we've got Redders pushing up just to wait for Sons of Odin to make their way in. And that is Welshie knocked of Team 4. And that is Venus taken down by Deathly Hallows Siren. We've got Moonin knocked by Tango. Bowser inside. That is Redders taking down Deadpool. Redders is now knocked. So we have Jacko left. We've got Siren by the wall now pushing in. And that is it for team number 2, unfortunately, with Sons of Odin getting the finish. We've still got KJ of team 4. But that is now Deathly Hallows finished off for game number 1. We've got the Paradox of team 19 and we've got Jen of team 21. And Jen Chazak has been knocked by Subi. And that is Subi guessing the finish there. We've got Jen Spook now being pushed in by the zone. And that is Jacko knocked by the Paradox. With Floron now pushing in slightly. And Moonin is now trying to get the revive. And that is Sancho now knocked. That is Florent knocked too. Moonin has been knocked. And we have Jen Spook staying out of the way at the moment, with Subi going against Jacko. And that is Jacko taken down by Subi. And Jen Spook has just taken down Fleuron. And Spook is just coming in slowly and trying to hide, while Subi gets the revive on Psycho. And that is the end of game number 1, with the Paradox coming in first place with 14 kills. We have Jen in second with 4. We have Sons of Odin in third with 11 kills. We have Deathly Hallows in fourth with 4. We have Deathly Hallows in fifth with 4. And we have Noob Hunters in sixth with 1. And we have Zen in seventh with 14 kills. If you have enjoyed this stream, please follow the channel for new content. We will be back in just a moment for game number 2. This is the Deathly Hallows Most Wanted scrims, and I am Abs, and we'll be right back.